Okay, I'm back and I know what happened and I'm checking. Okay, yes, I'm back. You guys should be able to hear me. Okay. For those of you who are sticking around, I am super grateful that you're here. Okay, so what happened was I teach virtual fitness and I left my headphones connected. And so everybody was hearing me, but only through headphones. Okay, here we go. Share and present. And we're on. We're live. Can you guys hear me? All right. Again, jumping right back in. Welcome to Reclaim Your Routine. Super excited that you guys are here. I can see that my automated captions are coming on. So even if you can't listen to me, you should be able to hear what I'm saying. We are good to go. All right, you guys, welcome, welcome. So welcome to Reclaim Your Routine. So this is the beginning, day one of a 3-day workshop that I am so excited to share with you guys. I kind of get giddy about health and fitness, but I also get really, really excited about just the inner workings of our brain and how they either can help us or really hurt us on this journey called life. So I have been researching, learning new things, and I'm just really excited to share what I have learned with you guys inside of this workshop. So during these 3 days, you will discover how to take back or take control of your health and fitness by breaking through roadblocks, setting clear, attainable goals, and building habits that fit seamlessly into your life, which is what we want, right? We want to create sustainable change, and that is what today is all about. So I promise that you will leave with practical, actionable strategies for fitness and nutrition that not only fit into your life, but actually align with the vision that you have for your future, and therefore empowering you to really step into your greatness in this amazing time of life, midlife. All right, I'd love to get a couple thumbs up and just make sure that you guys can see and hear me. I am so, so glad that the audio is fixed and we are good to go. All right, so if you are new to me or new to my world, my name is Joan Dandino. I'm a mom of 3 girls. My oldest is about to turn 20, so for only a few more weeks can I say mom of 3 teenage girls. Happily married to my hubby of many, many years. Let's see, 2002 we said I do, so yeah, we're coming on 23 years this year. I am a fitness coach, I'm a nutrition coach, I'm a dog mom. My sort of motto is move, nourish, and gather, and do it all just for the health of it. I do teach online fitness classes. I teach cooking classes in my kitchen. I gather women. We do fun things once a month. It's called You Go Girl, and I'm happy to share any and all information with you guys, but today is about you. So I want to really, first of all, just congratulate you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to do something that is for yourself. And we're just going to jump right into today's presentation. So let's just get the housekeeping stuff out of the way, logistics. If you are just catching this live presentation on Facebook, you want to make sure to register. When you register, you'll get an email with the worksheet, and that's going to kind of help you stay on track as we go through the different days. You'll also get emailed the links directly to the replays after each day. Well, what you can expect is about 30-ish minutes each day, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And each day has its own theme, and each day kind of builds on each other. So if you can, watch them in order, ideally. We'll have optional homework each day, and that is really to help hold you accountable. And also help you really apply what you're learning inside of each day. It's often really nice to show up and be inspired and then get distracted and go on about your life and then be like, oh man, I forgot to really implement what I learned. You will also have the ability to win prizes, and that's just an extra little carrot that I'll dangle to really encourage you guys to do the homework and actually get into action here. And then finally, I'm going to ask you guys to comment on the thread inside of our Facebook group to share an aha moment or any questions that might come up from the information that I share today. Not everybody inside of our Facebook group is going to take the time to listen to this. So let's do them a favor and share a little aha moment. But also, when we take the time to write something down, it actually solidifies it more into our brain. So if your aha moment was worthy of actually taking a moment to type it into the comments of the thread, I would be so grateful. Okay, what is the goal of this particular training? Um, when I show up, I want to show up with the best of my ability to help really make a meaningful difference in your life. So that is my goal. I want to help you go from frustrated, overwhelmed, confused, discouraged, or any other negative emotion that you might feel currently as it relates to your health and wellness, to feeling empowered, educated, supported, and really just ready to take action. So I really encourage you, show up, do the work. Don't just take it in and feel inspired, but rather move, take an action. The goal, or my theme for myself and for my business, is thrive in 2025. And I love that it rhymes, easy to remember, but a lot of times we get stuck on the how. And that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments. Did you set New Year's resolutions this year? And if so, how are they going? Now, I do not want to rain on your parade. However, as a health and fitness coach for 20 plus years, I really can't stand New Year's resolutions because they tend to come in and really disrupt what I've been trying to share and coach my clients on throughout the whole entire rest of the year. So everybody wants to come in with their flashy New Year's resolutions January 1st, and then usually by February 1st, they've either forgotten about them or they're in a worse place than they were if they hadn't set those resolutions in the first place. And I'll explain a little bit more why. It's bold, I know, but I really think resolutions kind of suck. I'm all for setting goals and challenging ourselves to grow and improve. There's just something so empowering about striving to be the best version of ourselves. But I think New Year's resolutions often miss the mark. They focus on quick fixes and external achievements rather than like focusing on what's a meaningful, sustainable way that I can change and grow as a human. Resolutions also can feel like a reaction to guilt over what we didn't accomplish last year, rather than a thoughtful alignment with what truly matters to us and helping us become the best version of ourselves in the future. Resolutions usually lack specificity, contain unrealistic expectations, lack a plan or strategy. They often rely on motivation. And if you've been in my world for a minute, you know that motivation is unreliable. We cannot wait to be motivated. We have to rely on commitment and determination and discipline. Resolutions usually promote this all or nothing thinking. So I have been working with women for my entire career. That's kind of my broad niche. And I will tell you that most women have all or nothing thinking, at least at some area in their health and wellness journey. And resolutions tend to highlight that all or nothing thinking. Often resolutions lack any sense of accountability. They're often misaligned with our core values, like what's really, really important to us often doesn't align with what we want to set as a New Year's resolution. They often lack a long-term vision, and they often lack reflection on last year's New Year's resolution and the year before. Because what I see is this cycle is, you set on January 1st, I will not drink for the whole rest of the year. And then by the 10th, you're like, oh crap, it was my husband's birthday and I really wanted to have a glass of wine and therefore I failed. And so, I suck. And the truth is, you don't suck. The resolution probably is the problem. Okay, so I find that the pressure to overhaul our lives overnight sets us up for failure, leaving us feeling defeated and disconnected from our goals. Instead of focusing on resolutions, what if we shifted that narrative and prioritized intentional, small, consistent actions that align with our values and honor where we are in life? And again, if you've been in my world at least for a minute, you've heard me say progress over perfection over and over and over again. Growth is not about perfection or ticking boxes on January 1st. It's about progress, self-compassion, creating habits that serve us long term. So let's ditch the all or nothing mindset and embrace the journey of becoming our best selves one step at a time. All right. I think I've created my stance here. Commitments, which lead to sustainable change. That's where it's at. Day one. This is what we're here for today, setting the foundation for sustainable change. Step one, we'll identify your top goal. And I actually have a new word here that I'm excited to share with you guys. Step two, identify roadblocks. Three, identify the growth needed to achieve your goals. And then four, identify your stage of thriving. Okay, so if you've registered, you got the email inside of your little worksheet workbook. I provided some links. So I will be referencing a book, a podcast, and a YouTube interview in over the course of the next few days. And so if you want to go watch the whole YouTube interview, listen to the podcast, read the book, I invite you to do that. The links are in the workbook. Okay, step number one, we're going to identify your top goal. So here is what I want you to hear. A lot of times people want to say, I need to overhaul everything. And they look at this big thing. And a lot of times our goal is, for example, weight loss. And we think, I want to lose 25 pounds by summer, whatever. That is not an actionable step. And it's definitely not your top goal. That might be the outcome that you want to happen, but you cannot control that. You can control your behaviors, your actions, your schedule, your mindset, but you cannot control the scale. So that's just a little side. Why just one goal? Okay, here is the reason. When we focus on one goal instead of many goals, it allows us to direct our energy and our resources effectively, leading to greater success and less overwhelm. I'd love to hear in the comments if you have ever felt overwhelm or maybe often felt overwhelm when it comes to your nutrition and your fitness. If you're familiar with Yay, I'm so glad you guys are on. Thanks for being here. If you guys are familiar with Pareto's principle, it says that 80% of our results come from 20% of our efforts. We're going to revisit this tomorrow on day 2 and go a little bit deeper in this, but I just want to share this overarching theme that if we focus on one important goal, that one will have the biggest impact on how we move forward in life. We will achieve way more than if we try to tackle everything all at once. When we focus on one goal, we avoid overwhelm. It lets you channel your efforts in clarity and purpose, builds momentum. It helps you have success in one area. And when you have success in one area, you're like, dang, look, I did that. And that creates a ripple effect. We're going for quality over quantity. So by identifying and prioritizing the one goal that will give you the greatest return, you ensure that your efforts are actually going to make a difference. And then the other thing is confidence through progress. So when you achieve one significant goal, again, it builds your confidence and your belief that you're able to succeed in other areas too, which leads to greater motivation and determination. So I'm going to give you guys a new concept, and this new concept is a domino goal. So a domino goal is a single intentional goal that when achieved, it sets off a chain reaction of positive changes in the whole rest of your life. So when you tip over a first domino in the line, like the picture shows, it creates momentum. It cannot stop the subsequent falling of all the dominoes, right? So when you have a domino goal, one big goal, then often it sets off a chain reaction to help you hit other goals that you didn't even realize that you were going after. So I'm going to go over some examples in the next slide, but I want you to start your wheels turning. What could be a domino goal in your life as it relates to health and fitness that you could focus on? Many habits are naturally linked, so improving one improves the others as a byproduct. For example, committing to consistent strength training, which I highly recommend, is not only going to improve your physical health, but it will also boost your mental well-being and your confidence in other areas of life. I know this to be true, and I would love, love, love to help you experience what that feels like. Prioritizing sleep often leads to better energy, improved mood. You're going to make healthier food choices if you're not sleep deprived. Finally, starting a regular workout routine might make you more mindful about nutrition and hydration. I'd love to hear in the comments, does that resonate with you? Have you ever started fitness and realized like, oh, by the way, it actually makes me want to eat healthier? I've heard that from clients over and over again. So I'd love to hear if that resonates. Also, just a quick note, if you're catching the replay, please write replay in the comments so that I know that you're here. All right. How to identify your domino goal. So the first thing you'll do is just assess your current challenges. What do you feel like is out of alignment right now? What do you feel like you tend to complain about, or what's a big struggle? What's something that you should all over yourself all the time? I should this, I should that. I should exercise more. I should not drink as much. I should eliminate sugar, whatever. What is it that is kind of top of mind when I say what's a current challenge with your health and fitness? Which area, if improved, would make the biggest impact on your overall well-being? And maybe you don't know, but let's think through this. So if you had some high-level habits, so ones that have influenced multiple aspects of your life, what would make the biggest difference? Anytime I talk about drinking water, I got to take a sip. If you're watching, I encourage you, take a sip of your water right now. Do you have a water bottle sitting next to you? If not, maybe drinking more water would be a domino goal for you in 2025. When we're more hydrated, we have more energy, we don't have as many cravings, our skin clears up. What about daily movement? If daily movement is something that you struggle with actually getting into your day, what if you knew, what if you could feel this right now, that your mood would be improved? That when your head hits the pillow at night, you like, oh my gosh, you're so tired, you just can't help it. You fall right asleep. What if daily movement meant that all the stressful things in your life just impacted you less because you knew, hey, I already moved my body today. I already took care of myself. I can handle what comes my way. And then another example would be meal prepping. When we meal prep, we save time, we eat healthier. A lot of times we regulate our blood sugar. And I realize sugar is cut off, but you guys know what I mean. Number 5, when you're identifying your domino goal, have it align with your core values. If your core values include spending quality time with your family, please don't, and you work full time and all you have is evenings and weekends with your family, please don't set your big sights on running a marathon where you have to be out of the house for Saturday for 4 or 5 hours running. Like that just doesn't align, right? So really think about what is really important in this season of your life to you overall, health, family, career. What is it that is like your big blocks, your big rocks? Make sure that your domino goal fits within that. Okay. So they're not competing against each other. Okay, examples of domino goals, completing 3 strength training sessions, increasing protein at most meals, preparing and eating breakfast every day, scheduling your workout into your calendar. Do you see that each of these examples could have a checkbox next to it and you could say, yep, did that today, or, oh gosh, didn't do that today. So we're not saying lose weight. There's literally no action that you can take right now that would equal that, right? So you can't be proud of yourself. You're always going to fall short. So make it something you can check off of a list. All right. If anything is resonating from step number 1, I would love to hear it. Have you heard of this term domino goal before? And what are you starting to think? Is anything kind of coming up for you? Like what could be your domino goal this year in 2025? Step number 2 is identifying your roadblocks. What do you most often catch yourself using as either an excuse or a legitimate explanation for why you can't follow through with your resolutions or your goals? I'm going to share with you some of the most common roadblocks or obstacles that midlife women experience and say to me on a regular basis. I'll just share these top 10 with you. And then I'm going to share the number 1 that I hear. Okay. So number 1, time constraints. We all get this, you guys. We are all pulled in a million different directions. A lot of us have aging parents. A lot of us still have either kids at home or they're in college or they're just starting their young lives. And we want to be available for them, but that also spreads us thin. A lot of us have either careers that we're still in or new careers that we're starting. Our family dynamics are shifting. Our relationships are shifting. It's a ton of time right now. So it feels like a real struggle to fit self-care into our schedule. Number 2 is lack of support. So a lot of times I hear like, okay, my husband loves me, but he is my biggest like downfall when it comes to this because, 5 o'clock rolls around and he hands me a glass of wine. It's like, okay, that is an example of you're just not being supported in this journey. So that is a struggle for sure. We've already talked a bit about this one, but all or nothing, that believing that perfection is required for success because perfection doesn't exist, remember? So we have to do away with that word altogether. I hear this one a lot too, low energy levels. Like I am just so tired. I can't imagine going for a walk right now. I just can't. The truth is, going for a walk is going to actually give you more energy. But when you just feel fatigue, either from hormonal changes or sleep, lack of sleep or burnout, it's a legit thing. So I'm not discounting any of these obstacles. I just want you to hear the top 10 so you can be like, oh, yeah, I identify with that. Or no, I don't really struggle with that one. Overwhelm and decision fatigue. So there, if you look like Google, what should I do to get healthy? You will spend the next 10 years reading everything, right? There is there's just so much information out there. It becomes information overload and then we get stuck. We don't even know what should we turn left or right? We don't know. And so therefore we stop. Negative self-talk is a huge, huge obstacle. Doubting your ability to succeed almost makes you not even want to start in the first place. Physical changes, dealing with menopause, joint pain. Can I get a hands up in the comments if you feel any of those? Menopause, joint pain, other health conditions, like it's legit. We are really starting to feel the body going, "Ooh, I can't do that anymore," or "Let's slow down." Financial concerns. I often have people say to me, "I can't afford to get healthy." And my response often is, but you can't afford to not get healthy. Like with our health, we have nothing. Um, so just keeping that in mind, but these are real concerns. Fear of change or fear of success. So a lot of times we have conditioned ourselves to believe that we deserve what we have, or that my identity is linked to being, unfit or unhealthy. So we really have to get to work to change that inner narrative. And a last one, one of the top obstacles is just lack of getting those immediate results. Like I've been trying for a whole week and I haven't even seen the scale move. Like, really? We can't get discouraged right away. But when we focus on what we can control, then we get to be encouraged because we're showing up for ourselves. And no matter if we see any results right away, we can be proud knowing that we're doing what we said we would do in order to create that change eventually. Okay, so the top ones, time constraint, we've been through this, but I want to share just some really quick ideas here for solutions. So a lot of times people think they need a full hour at the gym. That has gone out the window a long time ago, right? Like you can get in a 10-minute workout and that's better than a 0-minute workout any day of the week. You could prep one healthy meal and that is better than prepping 0 healthy meals, right? Having non-negotiable me time, add it to your calendar. I really have had great success with my clients blocking off, especially if they're professionals, blocking off time for their exercise into their calendar so people can't schedule meetings with them. It is that important to you guys. You won't be available for a meeting if your body is not working, if you're not functioning. And then finally, combining activities. So while you're taking a call, could you go for a walk? Could you stretch while you're numbing out in front of the TV? There's always a way to fit something in. Time constraints is a huge one, but there is always a way. Overwhelm and decision fatigue. This one is definitely in the top. So there's so much to change. I don't even know where to start. I hear that a lot. There's so many diets and workouts out there. I just don't know which one's right for me. Here is where, again, we're going to just simplify it. Pick one thing. What is one thing you can focus on? It will compound over time, and then you can add something else small on top. Last was it, I think September, I went through the simpler method in the self-care strategy workshop, just like this one. That is a framework that's really going to help you with this overwhelm and decision fatigue. So I really encourage you to go back and watch the self-care strategy. It's in the guide section in our Facebook group, so you can always go back and watch any of these anytime you need a little extra inspiration. We're going to build momentum with the domino habits first. So those are the big ones that knock over lots of little dominoes afterwards. And then finally, I just encourage you to try something. If you're like, I don't know if I should do this diet or that diet, this workout or that workout, just try something. Get into action. You'll know pretty quickly that is not for me. And then it's time to try something else, but just don't get stuck in this inaction mindset. Finally, negative self-talk. This one's huge. Our inner critic telling us, I can't do this. I always fail. Getting into that shame cycle. It's a spiral for sure. So some solutions, really identifying and reframing those limiting beliefs, catching yourself anytime you say, I can't do this or I always fail. Practicing affirmations, self-compassion, talking back to your critic with empowering language. If you come to my fitness classes, you will hear me say, talk to yourself. We are the person we listen to the most. Our own inner voice is the voice that we hear all day long. So we have to talk to it sometimes and say, yes, I can. I got this. And then make yourself proud with the little things that add up. Here is the number one thing that I hear most women say. I know what to do, but I lack the blank to follow through. And here are, I don't know, 8 or 10 things that I hear. And I'm not going to go through all of these. If you want to take a screenshot, you may. Often we lack one of these. We know what to do, but we lack the discipline, clarity, support, energy, focus, resilience, self-belief, plan, patience, or skill set. So we have to identify what is holding you back. What do you lack? Okay, so this is what I'm really excited about here. Often we talk about what's the action? What do I need to just do to achieve this goal? But the truth is, who do we need to become is a better question to ask. So this is a quote from Jay Shetty, and I'm going to talk about him in just a moment. So to achieve my goals, I need to ask, how do I need to grow? What skills do I need to develop? And what actions will help me bridge the gap between where I am today and where I want to be? So if you guys are not familiar with Jay Shetty, he has the #1 health and wellness podcast. He's in just my normal weekly rotation of podcasts, but he did an episode at the beginning of this year, 6-step blueprint to achieve all your goals for 2025. And I thought a lot of his overarching themes of that episode and just his take on life in general are very in alignment with how I coach as well. So I thought I'd pull in some outside influence for you guys here. He emphasizes the importance of skill development when we're trying to affect personal change. He advises listeners to identify the specific skills necessary to achieve their goals, highlighting that setting goals without understanding the required growth can really get in the way. One of the biggest mistakes that we make is we set goals, but we don't know how we need to grow in order to achieve them. Okay, if this is kind of a new breakthrough for you, I would love to hear in the comments. So, based on your domino goal, hopefully you've chosen it yet. If not, it might take you some time to think about that domino goal. But when you think about that, what do you need to learn in order to succeed at that goal? What skills are you lacking? So, for fitness and nutrition, some growth areas might be learning proper strength training techniques, understanding macronutrients so that you can really balance out your meals, building consistency with small daily habits. Success is not about willpower. It is not about motivation, but it is about cultivating the skills needed to become the type of person who succeeds at this domino goal effortlessly. Growth is not about knowledge. It is also about mindset. So I often hear people say knowledge is power. I actually disagree. Applied knowledge is power. If all we have is knowledge, but we don't get an action, what good is it? We have to create behavior change using a mindset shift. And that is what our final concept of today is. Step number 4, identifying which stage of thriving you are in currently. Okay, so again, back to Jay Shetty in his podcast that I highly recommend you guys go listen to. He talks about 5 levels of growth. So we talked about learning already, but there are 4 other steps before we can thrive. And the first one is learning. The second one is experimenting. The third one is performing. The fourth one is struggling. And the fifth one is we thrive. So when we learn, we must acquire new knowledge and skills. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. If you are new to lifting weights, you must figure out how to lift weights, right? But then we have to experiment. We have to apply what we've learned in real life situations. We have to actually go to the class and listen to the trainer and do what she says. And then number 3, perform. This means consistently executing and refining your abilities. Perform. That's like over and over and over. It's practice. And when you go through practice, you will struggle. Nobody gets to skip the struggle. So that's when challenges, setbacks, you get sick or you travel, you've got company in town. It's overcoming those challenges that is the last step before you get to thrive. So I'm telling you, it's never just this perfect path of like, oh, my domino goal is to lift weights. And all of a sudden you're like thriving at lifting weights. It just doesn't work that way. Oftentimes, and Jay says this in his podcast, he's like, all you guys see is my polished, thriving goal or skill. You didn't get to see all the rest that came before that. So if your domino goal is to get consistent with lifting weights, first we have to learn the basics of strength training. You have to understand why it's important. Why? Our bone density, our metabolism, our muscle mass, it all relies on lifting weights. We have to figure out how to structure a workout. And then you might learn by either researching, figuring it out on your own, hiring a coach, joining a class. You got to figure out how to learn. And sometimes we get stuck in this learning, right? But next we have to experiment. And it really is just trying different things. Maybe you try doing full body 3 days a week, or maybe next week you try upper body one day, lower body one day, and core one day. You find out, you just experiment. You see, how does this make me feel? Does it make me feel energized? How to experiment. We want to figure out, am I a morning workouter or am I a nighttime workouter? Do I like to do 30 minutes all at once, or do I want to do 10-minute sessions broken up through the day? We don't know until we try. And then third, we just have to perform. This means committing to a consistent schedule. This means putting it in your calendar. This might mean tracking your progress. What to focus on, we want to build confidence by mastering our form. So pay attention to how does your body feel? And then celebrating wins is a huge part of performance, because that's what continues to make you want to show up day in and day out. And then finally, we got to struggle. We have to balance strength training with everything else in our life. We have to get over that self-doubt of showing up at the gym and feeling like everybody's looking at us because we don't know what we're doing. We have to experience muscle soreness and frustration when the body maybe doesn't change, or maybe you skipped a session. You just got to get over those things and keep going. The consistency is what matters so much. So to overcome those, you might reframe the struggle parts. The struggles mean I'm growing. The struggle means I'm so close to that thriving stage. You might lean on support like an accountability buddy or a coach, or you might adjust your expectations and instead of focusing on perfection, focus on consistency. And then finally, we get to thrive. And when we thrive, we feel strong, we feel confident, we notice our posture is better, we have more energy level, we might notice a little tricep muscle sticking out. We might notice that strength training has become a lifestyle and not a chore that we just go, oh, I got to get that in. It's like, oh, yay, today's a strength training day. And then eventually you might even inspire other people to start their own routines. And then when you sustain this, that is when you have mastered. You have stepped into that new identity, but along the way, you're giving yourself grace every single day. Our goal is to thrive in 2025. So to wrap up for today, homework heads up. So I'm about to share the homework with you. After this presentation, I will email out the homework link. I really encourage you, again, for 2 reasons, to show up for yourself and do the homework so that you can actually put into action what you're learning. But also, I am offering prizes. So the Midlife Glow Up program, the 8-week group coaching program, starts up at the beginning of February. And I'm super excited to take another round of midlife women through this process. And it's really geared towards everything that we're talking about today, focusing on one big goal, having support, accountability, a community, everything along with you throughout the whole process so that you can really step confidently into the second half of your life, focusing on fitness, nutrition, personal growth. So the Glow Up is not open for registration yet, but it does open for registration at the end of this 3-day training. And I will be announcing winners. First place winner gets $125 off registration, and the second place winner gets $100 off registration. But you have to do the homework in order to be entered to win. I also just really encourage you to do the homework, because that's how you're going to take action and really solidify these new pathways in your brain. Day 1 homework. Number 1, identify your domino goal. So you can take all day to think about this, but really think about one that's going to make the biggest difference in your life. Number 2, you'll identify your biggest roadblocks. Writing those down will be helpful, because then you can't ignore them anymore. Number 3 is identifying, how do you need to learn? What do you need to grow in? Who do you need to become in order to succeed at your domino goal? And then number 4, what stage of thriving are you at currently related to your domino goal? And then again, if you can, just post an aha or a takeaway or a question inside of our Facebook group on the Day 1 thread. And I will see you guys back tomorrow for day number 2, which is about creating lasting change. This one is really cool. This is where I'm sharing a lot of the things that I've been learning lately about behavior change as it relates to your emotions, how small changes are what we're going after, but they need to be big priorities in your life, how to measure what matters, how to know what to measure, and then the 3 C's. There are likely at least one of the 3 C's that you are missing, that if you got it, you would see results and success on your journey. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you tomorrow for day 2. Post any questions and ahas, and I will see you guys.